today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these super great gift tags. And I'm going to go over the details of all three, but I'll only take you start to finish on this one because once you know how to make the tags, I don't need to repeat that 2 and 3 times. So I will go over the details of those other ones. This one will start to finish. Now, we're going to be starting with the 2 tags die from Stampin' Up. And I've got my acrylic plates in here, the Big Shot, and this tag is 3 layers. So we have the vellum on top, then the designer series paper, and then white cardstock underneath all of that. So what you would do is cut all of those 3 layers together all at once. So I've cut them just the right width, and I'm going to put them right on top of this die. Make sure you're going to catch all the edges, so it's good to line up your cardstock so they're nice and straight too. Make sure you're going to catch it top and bottom. Bring in your other acrylic and put the whole thing into the machine. I'm doing this backwards for you, so it's a little awkward. Okay, bring that through. And then out the other side, here come my 3 pieces. Very cool, very easy. So that same process you're going to repeat for all of the tags, so we won't come back to that part. Now, the next thing you need to do is with the paper trimmer, I'm going to come back to the tag here again. With the paper trimmer, what I've done is I've taken off a little bit off the edge of the vellum, which is on the top. So with the paper trimmer, and you know, you don't have to, this does not have to be exact. I'm bringing, if you're using the 2 tags die, I'm bringing this edge to the 4-inch mark. So that means I'm taking off about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so that's going to layer on top. The white on the bottom is really just for reinforcement because the designer series paper is a little bit thinner than the cardstock. It's really only there to reinforce the whole tag. Okay, so we can set these 2 aside for the moment, the white and the designer series. This one, we want to go ahead and stamp on our vellum right away because it takes a little bit of time for the classic ink to dry on vellum because it stays wet, and we just need a little bit of drying time built into that. So I'm just going to work on the back of a scrap piece of paper here. Open my Melon Mambo ink, and I'm using the Delicate Doily stamp set, which matches the paper, and I'm smooshing this. So actually I'm going to lay my stamp right on the table because I want to be able to visually see that I have every bit of this covered with the ink. So you can dance around this a little bit, making sure the whole thing's covered nicely. And then for this tag, you can see on my concept one here, I just have it sort of off and on the surface because I really like the look of it being not completely smack dab in the middle. And also, depending on the orientation of your paper, you sort of want to make it work with your paper. So this one, it sort of captures a spot where there was white underneath the white vellum. So examine each piece of paper as you come along. This one has the white up in this part, so I definitely want to make sure that my new image comes in the opposite corner. Okay, so we're going to go for the bottom left corner on this one. Freshen up my ink there, straight down. Hold on to your vellum in case it wants to come up off the table on you. Straight back up. Okay, so set this part aside to dry while we go on to the next part. We also need to stamp a greeting on here. So I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas. This is from For the Holidays stamp set. There's the 4 in the package. So I'm back to my Melon Mambo ink. And again, we don't want to get any of those nasty edges on our stamp when we go to finish our image. So again, I'm going to have you put your stamp down on the table flat, bring your ink to it like so, do a little dance around there, make sure you've got all your edges, give it a visual look, make sure it looks all inked up, and then come to your tag, nice and straight, just nice and easy, straight down, nice firm push, straight back up, hold your vellum on the table. Because the vellum is a little bit like plastic, sometimes it'll stick to your stamp, not always, but sometimes. So do make sure you just put your fingers down on the vellum, pick up your stamp. Okay, Merry Christmas. Now we'll set it aside and let that ink dry on the vellum.
Hey there, fancy pants.
For the 3rd layer, I'm using the Silver Glimmer cardstock, and you can see I've just cut a 1-inch little strip by 2 3/4 wide, and I'm going to take our corner punch, and I'm just going to dip that little corner in there, make sure it's nice and snug so you get a nice rounded corner, and that's it. So this one is going to go on the white here. In comes your flirtatious paper, and you can match up your top edges here. And we'll glue all this on afterwards. I'm just going to show you here for now. And then when your vellum's dry, oops, don't want to mess that up. Your vellum's going to come in. I'm just going to leave this for assembly for a few minutes because my vellum is probably not dry quite this quick. Okay, and there's our finished one again. And then we're going to finish the whole thing off with the rhinestone in the middle. Okay, so now with our vellum dry, what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've glued these bottom two layers together, the white with the flirtatious paper, and I've used my 2-way glue pen for that, of course. And I've gone ahead and put my tag on here that I'm going to teach you a little bit later in the video. But from now, so this vellum piece is just moving about in the wind here. So we need to adhere that with something. So we're going to come to our glue dots. And with my paper piercer, I'm just going to get in there and pick up one of those dots and wiggle that off of there. And on the flip side, the back side of the vellum, I'm going to plant that right in the center of that doily. And I'm doing that because we know that with vellum, the adhesive often shows through. So I'm going to just plant that on top of there, so it will be very inconspicuous. Make sure it's nice and straight going all the way down, so my tag is still lining up, nice and straight. So there's my vellum under there, or my glue dot under there. You don't see it all. And then to finish it off, we're going to come in with our rhinestones, and same thing. I'm just going to use my paper piercer to get one in there, pick that up, plant it on there, and there you go. How beautiful is that? It's gonna be totally awesome.